Hi there, folks. Welcome to Unmotive Show. Today we have Nicholas Loise. Oh, how do you pronounce your name, actually?
Yeah, Luisi. Nicholas Luisi is
Luisi.
fine.
You told me that last time.
Yeah.
Okay, Nicholas Luisi is a salesperson and sales leader. He's spoken on CNN, Fox News, and he's doing a lot of podcasts these days to promote all the good things he's doing in sales, business growth, and helping his customers build their businesses. Say hi to Nick.
Hey, great to be on. Thank you for all you do. I mean, these podcasts are labor of love for a lot of the hosts, so I appreciate all the work that you put into this. And you really are. You did a great job on making sure you provide high quality interviews for your listeners. So it's great to be on your show. It's great to be a part of this podcast community that you're building, and I really appreciate the time. It's we love talking about all we do. We love talking about leisure. We love talking about mental health and all that aspect. So, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Great, thanks. Yeah, that was a better introduction than I gave you. Oh my gosh. So yeah, well, I was really happy to hear when you contacted me about this because I know you're into sales. I'm getting more into sales with my startup and marketing especially. I'm just kind of like marketing, sales, buying, selling. It's all kind of the same thing when you think of the internet, that's kind of what the internet is now. So I assume why don't you tell us a little bit about so we don't assume your accolades and what you've been up to. Can you tell us a little bit about like who you are, what you do, and yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, I've been in the sales and marketing game my whole career, my whole life, right? So started out in sales, started out making cold calls. Some of your listeners, sitting in a cube, dialing a land phone, dialing 50 in the morning, 50 in the afternoon, and reading from a script. And I didn't know any better. I just followed the script and, did that for a long time, had a couple different sales jobs. And then went to graduate school and learned marketing. And then I had a big job as a VP of marketing and business development for a large healthcare organization and really was blessed to work with a great team, learned a ton, started my own marketing agency. We were a lead generation shop, a lead generation agency, Chicago based. Most of our clients were local, small to mid-sized businesses. We were heavy in the home improvement, home services, and, it was in the front end of the internet. So I'm aging myself a little bit. This is 2006 that we started. And so at the time, the internet was really online, right? The online world was brochureware. And so we
Mm,
created lead generation websites, lead generation portals, the different types of things that you see now that are standard. We brought that to the marketplace. And so really had a lot of fun doing that. We did that from 2006 to 2012. We had some venture capital money as well as a couple different owners. And so we sold that, right? Partners wanted to get out. The VC guys wanted to get their money out. So we sold it, had a successful exit, knock on wood, went on to be a VP of sales and then president of a large marketing and sales education company. It's Dan Kennedy for your listeners, one of the best minds in marketing. So every day was like being in the best marketing minds and learning from everybody. And it was a lot of fun. And we, really had a great time. That was from 2012 to 2020. In there, I saw the need for small businesses to have somebody help them with their sales or their sales leadership or their sales management or to
wow.
level up their sales team because a lot of them maybe struggled with that or the founder just didn't have time to deal with that. And so we created these workshops where people would come in, pay us $10,000, $20,000, and we helped them build out their sales playbooks. And that was great, but then we saw that nobody had time to implement. So then I created the company where we then went in and implemented what we trained them to do. And that's the genesis of the company. I've been blessed. We're still working with our first clients. So we've had them for 5 years, knock on wood. And a lot of the people that we worked with in GKIC, we still work with to this day. So I was blessed. I had a really good exit and we're having a lot of fun. Working with small businesses, helping them on the marketing side, helping them on the lead generation side, helping them on the outbound side and the sales side. So that's a
Wow.
long answer to a short question.
Yeah, well, that's a long path because as you know, like small business owners, they're a tough crowd. They have so
Uh,
much going on.
Oh, yeah.
They're
I mean,
kind of like
everybody's
me.
beating on them, selling them stuff, and they're just trying to figure out how to serve their customers. And it's tough. I mean, it's tough being a small business owner. My heart goes, that's why I'm passionate about helping them.
Mhm.
I've always had an affinity for small to mid-sized businesses. I love them. I think they're the driving force of every local economy,
Oh
therefore the
yeah.
national economy. And I don't think they get enough respect. And I don't think a lot of people talk about them enough, and we are dedicated to serving them. That's all we want to serve with. We only work with founder-led companies, small business owners. I don't deal with corporations or, boards or executive teams. I've done a couple of those and said never again. Worked in large companies and they were great, and they are also great providers, but really the small businesses, right? So if you think about the people that are up and down your main street in your hometown. Those are the people that we like to work with. When you drive past those industrial parks, those are the people that we work.
Mm. Yeah, so a lot of those are registered as S corps, right? So
Yeah, S corps,
yeah,
LLCs, usually single owner LLCs.
yeah,
And they're just
pass through entities.
yeah, they're
Yeah,
just hardworking people.
yeah, and so research I did found that about 90, a little bit over 90% of the companies in America are these people you're helping, the small
Yeah,
businesses.
yeah.
And not to say I don't know what the revenue numbers are, but I'm sure the revenues I looked that up. I can't remember. I don't know if you know that stat, but what the revenue numbers of small businesses in America are
No,
compared
I
to the
do know that the average
corporations.
small business owner, and one of the reasons why we're passionate about helping them, only makes $72,000, and that's national
Mm,
numbers, right? And so there's
okay.
some guys making, big money, but then there's others that are barely making enough. And to take on that risk, to take on that pressure, to take on all that you take on as a business owner to only make $72,000, I mean, you could unfortunately do other stuff for that, right? So that's why we're passionate about helping them, and that's why I get on platforms like these to try to teach them and educate them and give all we can, because I don't think, I think we give them a lot of lip service with our, support small business weeks. I mean, I think
Hmm.
this it should be every day that we support small business and it shouldn't be just a week, sponsored by American Express. And so I really am passionate about helping them and kind of carrying the flag of how to be a better marketer, how to be a better salesperson, how to hire good salespeople so you don't have to do it all, and kind of get them out from under that pressure.
Right. Right. So there is a lot of pressure, but there's also, like you said, a lot of uh kudos going to these guys. And I think that's a testament to their passion for their work as well. Because if you're getting paid 72K for how much, like working 60 hours a week building a business, you probably have to like what you do, right? I don't know what's their what do you say their lifestyle is of your customer. Do they love what they do? Are they so stressed they hate their life? What do you think?
I think they all love what they do, because they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't. And I also
Mhm.
think that many of them are probably unemployable, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that they have to be the boss and they have to kind of be march to their own drummer. And we always say, good news, you're your own boss. Bad news is your own boss, right? And so there's nobody there to manage you, no one there to kind of keep you focused. And so, usually small business owners are really, really driven. They've taken the risk, and they kind of see a need in the marketplace, and they're passionate about their business, obviously, and they're passionate about serving their customers and their communities.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a new angle. I never thought of that. Unemployable. So that's kind of like how I feel. Well, actually, I want to get into this more about so you probably personally interacted with them quite a bit. Would you say you can speak to their pastimes and hobbies, what they do for their lifestyle to keep themselves going through all the hard days and nights of work?
I think that's a great question. And I think, many of them are extremely passionate in their hobbies about their families, right? So their pastimes and their hobbies really are their families, right? They just want to provide, they want to be home, they want to attend the kids' baseball games and basketball games. And if you look at, people on the sidelines at baseball games or soccer games or football games, they're just small business owners, right? I think they want to spend more time on their own health, right, and their own mental health, but they don't, right, and but they should, right, but so there's that. Usually they have passions, on the male side of things, sports, right, usually they're very passionate about their local teams or maybe their college teams or the high school teams. A lot of entrepreneurs certainly played sports, they're kind of driven and passionate in that way, but really their love and their passion is their business, right?
Mhm.
There's a study that was out, and I think it's out of a West Coast school, UCLA or something. And if you show a picture of a business to a small business owner and take an MRI of his brain or CT scan of his brain activates with pleasure, such huge pleasure. Similar to that, if you show a picture of a child to a mother, right? So if you show the mother her picture of her child and her brain gets excited and accelerates. So they're passionate about their business, right? If you spend any time with them, they'll talk to you about their business, their plans, where they want to go. And usually the business owners that we talk to are like it's their first love, right? So their family is a close second, right? 1A, but
Mm.
their business
Mhm.
is it. And they should have, and the work that you do is great about talking about, the mental health aspects. They should have some level of leisure in certain types of things, whether it's golfing or tennis or pickleball in this day and age, or playing something or working out, just to help them with that mental health aspect. Because I think you're spot on it. That's, very, very important, and we don't talk enough about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're coming out of a few years where it was very important for people to do
Sure, the
their
COVID
work.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, do the work, couldn't even
Yeah.
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 And, so I wanted to ask about your hobbies,
Okay.
um, and your pastimes. Do you have anything that keeps you going and gives you the drive to make it through the day?
Well, thanks. So, I'm at the club, health club, every day, except for Sundays. Sunday's church day, or if we're at the lake house, then we're not at that. So that's very, very important to me. And there was times where I didn't take that as the first thing that I should do, but I kind of made sure that I had that. And no one wants to see me on a day that I don't work out in some way, shape, or form, right? So whether even if now I'm in Chicago, so the weather's nice, so maybe I won't go to the gym 2 times a week. I may walk, right? But it's just I got to do something physical 30 minutes, and then I got to do some level of stretching. And when I found that I didn't do that, and then I went out and played golf, everything hurt. So I've made a commitment to really studying stretching. If you follow David Coggins, he used to at one time he stretched for 8 hours a day. Now the guy's a maniac, right?
Mm,
He's probably running 3 marathons while you and I are recording this, but so I try to do that every morning. I try to be a good reader, read a book. I read, a little bit of a book every day. Am I great at it? No, right? But I am. But I'm a foodie, right? That's one of the reasons why I got to go to the gym, because I love food so much, right? So my wife
mhm,
and I try to go to restaurants and new restaurants and different types of cuisines.
wonderful.
We're blessed that, we have a great relationship, spend time together, spend time with the family. We'll have everybody together for the 4th of July weekend, at our lake house. So those are all very, very important. And I will say, Rudy, that there was times where I
Mhm,
probably didn't put that first, right? And I felt it, and it wasn't fair, right? It wasn't fair to people, it wasn't fair to myself, it wasn't fair to my family that I didn't put them
yeah,
first, because I came so focused on
that's
work.
so perfect,
And so
yes.
I've learned to kind of put that important stuff first, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that it's not fair to other people because you're not I mean, I like to think you're not bringing your best self to the situation, and, that's kinda robbing yourself, I mean, not only yourself of being there for people and getting that feeling of giving, but, giving is receiving, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
anyway, but also robbing them of the experience of being around the best you,
Best version
um,
of you, right? I think,
best version of you. Yeah,
and realize that we're all a work in progress, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
Not
so
perfect.
give yourself some grace and give your family some grace and give other people some grace. And we're all my son and I and my wife were talking about this last night. You never know what happened to somebody 30 minutes before you interacted with them, right? They could
Mm,
be horrible, surly, in a bad mood person, but you don't know what happened, right? And so I think we could right now in this day and age, especially in the United States, it seems we could give each other a little bit more grace, a little bit more magnitude, and try to walk a mile in the other person's shoes because there's a lot of anger out there and there's a lot of
mm.
exhaustion out there. And it's not fair, right? But we're here, and I don't know what caused it, and if it was bottled up, and now it's just getting exacerbated. But you just see,
Oh,
I mean, you see things happening on the news, and my
yeah.
heart goes out to, just there's so many horrible things, right? And I think we as society could just do a better job of, you know, we're all in it together. And we're all trying
Mm.
to do better by our families. That's why many people come here. We're all trying to do better by our families. That's why we start businesses and take on the risk, and we're all doing better, trying to do better for each other. So that's my soapbox for the day. Sorry.
No need to be sorry. I think I have to shrink back because I need to put my foot in my mouth because I was about to say something about the whole what you were saying about today's state of the union, but maybe for another show, I try to stay off of
Yeah, me
politics
too.
and
I leave it
all that
nebulous.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. So next, thanks for sharing your hobbies and what you do in your life. That was really interesting. That's probably more than I do, honestly. Like, but I used to be like that, and when I remember feeling like the best I ever. Not the, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah. Yeah.
said.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I agree.
anyway. I was like that. Now I need to get more motivated and get back to that state where I was active for the sake of the rest of my life, not just active for the sake of being active. That's how I feel about it, and that's where I'd like to get. Right now, I'm working on a startup. It's
Good for
called
you.
Goal Oasis. It's a productivity app that helps long-term goal setters achieve their personal growth goals. So, like what we're talking about, lifestyle and leisure. Currently, we have the MVP developed. It's just a small productivity app that allows people to track tasks, milestones, and goals. And then we're adding the AI features as we speak to only the test group who join our invite only test group. We're trying to get at least 25 of them in the next 3 months, and then they'll have access to all these features first. And we're also going to be doing marketing and sales and all that good stuff. So I was hoping we could do a little bit of a sales workshop uh with you on the show since you're the pro. So, like, yeah, just how would we get started with that today? Maybe you can ask me some questions, or if you have a strategy for us to do a quick one for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, sure. So you're looking to launch a productivity app into the marketplace, right? So you've got an MVP or you're in the final stages of an MVP. Is so the first thing I would do is it can't be for everybody. So I would niche it. I would say this is a productivity app for um male entrepreneurs, right? Or
Mm.
African American male entrepreneurs or Italian American, teachers or something
Oh,
like that.
that niche.
Yeah, go hyper niched, right? Because
Hyper
nobody
niche.
wants to
Okay.
be one of many. We all want to be one of a specific group, right? Next thing I would say is it's got to stand for something and be against something, right? And so you decide, right? So we are for um male entrepreneurs who are tired of being told XYZ 1 2 3 4 5 6 and are looking to have more productivity in their life. So that's who we're attracting, right? So I would be as
Mm.
specific as I can of who I want to attract. If you're tired of, the productivity tools that, are from 1990s, right? Or the productivity tools that are used in corporate America, right? Because small businesses are anti-corporate America, right? They have a kind of David and Goliath type strategy. So if you're tired of, tools that aren't created specifically for you in the busy life that you have, you need to, right? So who are we for? Who are we against? Here, what's my story now? So now I want to craft
Mhm.
our story. This was created because I was just tired at the end of every day of coming home from work, from running my business and not feeling like I did anything, right? So tell your story, why you created it, right? So that's where we call our unique story or unique selling proposition. And then, we want to give it away for free for the first, 10 people, 20 people. And then, hey, listen, I'm giving this to you for free, but for giving this to you for free, I need you to give me a testimonial. I need you to give me a case study. I need you to be interviewed about it. So now I'm building my marketing assets, right? And so now you got to just then go. And I would go find groups on Facebook, right? It's the great, listen to them. What are they tired about? I'd find groups on LinkedIn. What are they tired about? And Reddit, and so now I'd go to social media. I go on X, right? X is a great way to market to entrepreneurs and small business owners. The Twitter for the people that are still old school and want to call it what it was a while ago, right? And I just go to those communities and, hey, listen, the first 30 days is for free, or it's $1.99 for the first 30 days. And then after that, it's $20, whatever it is, right? And so you want to make using you as easy as possible and take away any risk in using you, right? So $2 to get the most productive lifestyle in the world is worth it to me, right? If you say it's
Mhm.
$300, I'd be like, well, I don't know who you are. And, it's just to that. So then I would do grassroots marketing, and, just try to get on every podcast that I can, like we do here, try to get, be active in very big groups on Facebook. Then I'd start thinking about running some ads on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, right?
Oh, okay.
I do some ads. I do some lives, right? Some TikTok lives, some Facebook lives, some YouTube lives, and I would just talk and, start building up an email list in the database and be consistent in delivering that message. So every day you're on, or every week you're on, or every month you're on, whatever that is. And, now you're going to run some ads, and you're going to push it to a free, get 1 month free or whatever. There has to be some level of special offer. But the key is at the beginning, who am I for? Who is this for? And what's unique about it? So what's my unique selling proposition? And then you're off to the races. So we help who? Who do you help? And what do you help them do, right? Feel more productive, produce more, earn more money, pro- achieve more in their business. We help small to mid-size. We help Italian American Midwest based entrepreneurs and small business owners achieve more in their day without feeling exhausted so that they can produce
Mhm.
more, be with their family, and earn more money than they ever thought possible. Right. So that's
Yeah.
who I serve, how I serve. Now I got to go find those people and I got to go tell them that message and see if that message resonates with them. So,
Yeah.
how's that?
Yeah. That's good. It was definitely clicking the buttons and like turning the cogs in my brain about what to
Excellent.
do next. I did have a comment though, because right now we're just designing the app, so we can't even focus on who we're just building for because we have to find the what. I have the why though. So if you know Simon Sinek, he talks about your why. You have to know your why in order to, that's what Apple did. That's what a lot of the best, like Apple was the example he used, but they really knew their why, and that why resonated with their customers. So they were able to become a success. So I'm not modeling it after what them. I'm Apple. I'm actually just starting from the why. So I really took that and made that the whole driving force behind the app. But I don't know the who or the we're working on the what. I forget which one went first, how or what, but we're working on the how and the what now, and we started with the why.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I would challenge that and I'd say you got to go to the who and become
Mm,
passionate about the who and figure out their problems and how you solve their problems and figure out the problems they may not even know, right? And how do you solve that? Because,
yeah.
you know, yeah, it's great to follow the playbook of Apple, but let's be honest, you don't have the cash reserves, right? So you got to get nimble. You got to get, unless you're,
Yeah,
unless you're
yeah.
a reclusive millionaire that I just don't, know about. But you got to figure out who's got a burning issue that this product solves. So be a problem looking for a solution, not a solution looking for a problem.
Yeah, so, how do I do that then? Like,
Well,
so
I mean,
right now, like,
figure
how
out
do we
who you
niche
want to.
down, hyper niche down? Like, do we
Yeah, I
just
mean, I
say,
think.
"I wanna help you guys"? Could you know, or,
Well, no,
like,
I think you
do
gotta
some
look at
research
Reddit.
or
Go to
yeah.
Reddit and Facebook groups, go to forums and see if here's who I think I wanna serve, and maybe it's teachers. I don't know who, right? So, and I used entrepreneurs because that's who we're talking about. It's teachers. There's Reddit forums, there's Slack groups, there's Facebook groups, there's all these communities that they're on, and they're talking, right? And they're talking about their problems, and they're looking for the community because there's safety in numbers to help them solve this or look for solutions, right? And you just go on there for a second, you'll see, hey, has anybody tried this? Has anybody tried that? Right. So there's different niches that we serve. And I try to get on all their forums, right? And just take a look every day, 30 seconds. What are the problems? Right. In For business owners, I know what the problems are. They need more leads and they need more sales. And those are two problems that we help them with. But any forum
Mhm.
I get on, hey, who's anybody tried Facebook ads, right? Has anybody tried this? Has anybody tried this? They're all looking for better
Oh, okay.
sources of leads and pipeline, right?
Yeah,
And
so look
so
at that
that's what we
problem.
solve.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you gotta get granular.
Okay. And, so it's not too late to niche down then.
No, of
I
course
can
not.
do
Of course
yeah,
not.
that's what I was hearing. I was like, "Oh, no, I don't have the, who, so
No, you're
I
fine.
gotta stop doing what I'm doing and
Yeah,
just,
no, no, you're
focus on
fine.
because I'm like a programmer, so I like I'm kinda like having fun doing it, programming and figuring out all these technical problems and all that stuff. But, I also like design, so, I feel like design has to do with the business more than it does and the who that you're talking about, like the design of the product has to do more with the who than probably the technical side does. And so I'm getting more into that, the design of the product, to make it match the who.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother question. But I was the other thing I wanted to ask about or like talk about is like you mentioned earlier that like have I forget what you said. It was like have your anyway, so it has something to do with what I'm doing with Fox. Fox is Personal Health and Wellness Day. And so this is a whole the way I niche down was to focus only on personal growth goals. So like sports for the entrepreneurs you work with, maybe they have a hobby a sports or a hobby that they do. So it'd be like something like that for them or someone that's kind of like the vertical or the horizontal or whatever it's called.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so then Personal Health and Wellness Day is our goal is just to have an event once a year in May where we bring speakers and have events live and have it a hybrid event so it's streamed online and basically it'll be all maybe have some local sports stars, some people giving tutorials on how to play certain games, like maybe board games. There's a whole gamut of things you can do in personal growth. So that would be kind of like my idea now that you say I need to niche down is that would be more of an open thing where it's everything and each year it changes and it can be, and only a small portion is niche towards the niche that Goal Oasis is. But like for instance, the goal that's like a marketing vehicle, I guess I call it.
Okay.
So that basically it's like a way to build content that is related to Goal Oasis, but not really immediately affecting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
sure,
we
sure.
can
I love
it's
it.
and like maybe our just so I can say it to have the little vision board or the like digital vision board is to have it as a doodle on Google's front page. You know the day every day they change their doodle on
Yeah,
Google.
yeah, yeah.
So Personal Health and Wellness Day will be a doodle on Google. That's when we know we've made it big.
I love it. I love the aspirational goals.
Yeah, it's so motivating being able to help people with this type of stuff because I it feels like I'm helping myself by helping other people, and that's a really good feeling. And it's not even helping people. So our goal is our kind of like our mission, so to speak, is to make help 2,000 people with what was it? Help 2,000 people choose to spend their discretionary income on hobby expenses rather than other items.
Okay.
So in other words, change and you can tax it so it kind of has some tax implications too. So we could have some maybe tax controls, but people's hobby expenses can be expensed as long as it's kind of a gray area in tax law, but they can be expensed if they don't make money from it and it's a hobby, it's just for entertainment. Like a
Really?
photographer who's just giving away the like an artist who's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
doing art and not
Interesting.
selling their art. Maybe if they're really yeah, so that's that's like what we want people to get to spend. I forget 10%. I think the number we put on it was 10% of their the money that get for their want for their tax deductions on hobby expenses. But I wrote it down, but it's like an exact number so we can visualize it and help people get to that goal. But it's kind of does that make sense? Like
It does. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
mission there. That's like where we're gonna build our mission
Yeah.
statement.
It makes sense. Perfect sense.
Yeah, and it's, 'cause I wanna go back to the strategies that we were talking about. I have a sneaking suspicion that we won't be able to, niche down until we get users. I don't know, do you have any I know you work with small businesses, so maybe we'll just change gears. Do you work with small businesses who only work online, like e-commerce at all?
We've worked with some small businesses that are online focused, yes.
Okay.
But they
So
are, to
yeah.
be honest, they were more of the SaaS products, not e-commerce. So they were selling to corporations, but it was an online solution.
Oh, okay, so it's B to B
B2B.
type of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the other part of Goal Oasis I'll just mention before we change gears, is that, part of the whole idea is to come have a B2B side that is supporting pro products. So it's there's a B2B company called Questis that is going to be the B2B side because right now it's B2C. Goal Oasis is B2C, and we'll basically connect with companies who make products in the lifestyle and leisure industry and offer them a product that's related to Goal Oasis. We haven't designed that product. The website isn't even up yet, but that's the idea to have a B2B side and a B2C side to this. And that would be products like e-commerce products that are sold in the lifestyle and leisure
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's great. I think, the key is get the minimum viable product out in the marketplace, right? So many people just wait. I think you just got to get it out there and, just get feedback from the market. Get test users,
Mm,
get them to 'em for free, and get feedback, and then make the changes from there.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's what we're working on right now.
Great. Excellent.
And we're there. We're there. So I already have one tester and he's a buddy of mine. So
Excellent. Well, the good. You're doing
we're
all the good
moving
stuff.
up. Yeah, we have users. So I wanted to do a little segment for the next 10 minutes about day in the life. I know you said you do a lot of physical activities during the day to keep yourself
Well, never enough, but
yeah,
we
yeah.
usually wake up about 5:30, and
Mm,
then from there, kinda get to the gym, get the coffee set, get the smoothie set, so when I come back, I get just to come through that, get the electrolyte waters, start getting going on that, get to the gym. I'm at the gym for 45 minutes minimum, maybe an hour, right? Done my stretching, then, full body workout, or if I'm doing just focusing on chest and back and, whatever it is. So kind of go around from there. Then, get home, and then I, usually read a little bit, right? I read a little scripture every morning. I read the Bible. And I also, there's a couple different email let's say email newsletters that I read, right? Just to kind of get going and glance at the news. So that way I don't have to worry about it throughout the course of the day, right? Because we could get distracted too much. And so then in the shower and then, kind of in the office, in the home office, or if I got to go to clients, I'm going to the clients. And usually it's client meetings every day, though I do book time to prospect, right? So I am filling the funnel every day
Mm-hmm.
of either referral sources or potential clients, right? And then, just kind of keeping up. And so that's usually Monday through Friday. Friday, we kind of I'm usually on a podcast or two every week, or I'm going out and giving a speech, as top of the funnel. I'm training teams, doing, looking at calls. I'm working one-on-one with salespeople. I'm working one-on-one with my team. I have a team in the Philippines on the phones for clients. So, I'm kind of touching base with them throughout the course of the day to see how different campaigns are going. Um, you know, Usually by 5, I'm, kind of spent because I've been at it pretty hard. I've been trying to make sure I get up every hour, right? So right now I feel a little antsy because you kind of caught me for this podcast and I haven't stood, right? So I gotta stand every hour. I try to walk, even if I'm home, walk around, and just try to clear the mind. It's sunny out now. I live in the Midwest, right? So it's sunny. So I try to be outside as much as I possibly can, but at least 3 to 4 times a day, even if it's just for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just to get that sunshine on me. And then, my wife and I will have dinner. I usually go for an evening walk, right? I try to do that at least 5 days a week, if not more. So I'll do a quick, it's hot now. It's like 100 degrees, so maybe 20 minutes. And then, we're going to spend some time and talk and, just kind of catch up on the day and, maybe talk to the kids either on the phone, or they might be stop by the house. Try to talk to my parents, at least 5 times a week, right? So I give them a call, just check in with my dad. How's everything going? What's going on? Talk to my mom. And then I'm boring. I'm in bed by like 9, right? So maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna watch a little sports. Maybe I'm gonna read a little bit, right? Tennis season is up, so we like that. So we'll watch Wimbledon. We were watching a little bit of the French Open. It's on in Europe, so we could watch the highlights. I watch a little baseball. I'm a big baseball fan, right? So just a little bit, right? Some about 3 times to 4 times of the week, I'll watch TV, but I'm very specific on what I watch, right? So I try to watch something funny, right? So you kind of just get escaped in it, or I watch like the British mysteries. So that's what we watch. My wife watches,
Mm-hmm.
she's got some programs, right? So I'll watch them with her just so I'm at least by her, but I might be reading on my iPad. And it's easy to get down a rabbit hole on social media, so I try to stay away from it. But if I do, I'm only going to do it at night. And then I try to turn off all the screens at least 30 minutes before bed. So that's a day in the life. It's boring. Maybe we're going to go out to eat. Maybe we're going to go do something in the community. Maybe we're going to go, who knows? And then on the weekend, we'll do some fun stuff, and then try to do something physical, whether it's golf or tennis or pickleball. No, we were doing that, which is fun. I was in a league in a while, but that was a winter league, right? So I got to get that going again. So that's what we do.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. I wanted to go ahead and close up the show, but I wanted to thank you for being on here with us.
Oh, it was it was a pleasure and a joy. And I really want to thank you. As I started out, these are a labor of love for the podcast host. And I realize that. And they're a lot of work. And you got to make sure that your guest shows up and record them and then make them pretty and nice. And my hat goes off to you. So I really want to thank you because you're providing a service. So hopefully somebody listened to this and they got some good value out of it. And they're going to learn about your app and they're going to want to know more about that. And they're going to market their business better. So I appreciate you doing this as a host. And I appreciate how much you care about your listeners because you're very focused on your listeners and them getting value. And that my hat goes off to you for that.
Thanks so much. It is that matches with how I started, and now I'm just trying to make ends unmotive.com. That's the Unmotive Show website, and you can find links to all Nicholas's content and his past podcasts, as well as his website, the Sales Leader, correct? Okay. Well, that's Rotimi, aka Dopemu, signing off. We'll catch you